You know, when Kurt died, I remember the next day and thinking, I still get to live.
Few partnerships in rock history left a mark like the one between Dave Grohl and Kurt Cobain. In this video, Dave looks back on their time in Nirvana, sharing personal memories, hard moments, and the creative spark they built together. It's an honest, heartfelt glimpse into a friendship that helped shape a generation of music. Stay tuned to hear Dave tell the story in his own words. It's no secret that the passing of Kurt Cobain was a heartbreaking moment for music fans around the world. Dave Grohl reflects on how he found out and the shock and grief that followed in the days that changed his life forever.
When he killed himself, were you immediately in a depression, or did you see it? You were?
Yeah.
And did you say to yourself, that's it, it's the end of my career,
Yes.
I'm never going to go anywhere?
Yep.
Did you sit and meet with Chris, the other guy in Nirvana, and say, should we form a band together? I always
Nope.
thought it was, no, because that would have been weird.
Yep.
You two guys with some new
It was
frontman.
way too heavy. We've never talked about that, ever. It's been 20 years. We still haven't talked about it.
And what do you do that day? You just go into shock. I mean, you can't go
Everybody
back.
got together. Everybody went over to Chris Novoselic's house and, you know,
Hung out.
hung out.
Where are you right after Kurt dies?
Just lost. I went through a really dark period where I couldn't really even listen to the radio because it broke my heart just to hear music. You know, when Kurt died, I remember the next day and thinking, I still get to live. So I'm gonna live every day like it's my last one. Even if it's the worst day, I'm gonna try to appreciate it. And I still feel that way. I never want to die. I honestly feel like if I get to do this, and I've got these beautiful kids, as long as I can do this and do this, I'm all good, you know? Yeah. I'm still processing Kurt's death, you know? Because I have to explain it to my kids who love Nirvana. Because for the longest time, you know, I would try to process and talk about it with friends and family and things like that. And they would help me. But now, like, I feel like I have to help my kids.
So when Kurt dies, what's your game plan? Or you don't have one? You
I
start to
have one.
drift?
Yeah, I just, you know,
Who tells you your lead singer's gone? I mean, how do you find that out?
I think maybe it was on the news or something weird. I don't know. I don't remember
Like the
exactly.
news-
Like
The
you
new-
didn't get a call, you just heard it.
I think it happened, and then it just all happened, like, and the phone's off the hook, and
People are calling this and that.
yeah. My daughter Harper and I were driving in the car, and a Nirvana song came on. And we don't listen to Nirvana at home. This Nirvana song comes on, she's singing along to the words. And she says, how old was Kurt when you made this song? I said, I think he was maybe like 23, 24. She goes, what was he like? And I'd say, well, he was really nice. He was kind of shy. He was shy. Was he shy around people that he knew or people that he didn't know? And I said, well, kind of a little bit of both. And she said, God, that's so strange that someone who feels shy like that could write these songs and sing them and then stand on stage in front of 100,000 people and play them. I thought that was so cool because I think she wasn't looking so much at that other thing.
Yep.
She was looking at the person. It was just such a weird time. And we were kids, you know, I was like 25 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was strange. And I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't listen to Nirvana. I couldn't listen. I'd turn on the radio and I'd hear like, all by myself. I start crying, you know, and, like, it was terrible.
Do you think if Kurt hadn't died, you'd still be in Nirvana and never have written any of your songs that you wrote for Foo Fighters and never have gone out and done it? Like, in a way, his death liberated you. in a weird sense, right?
I mean, I know that I would still be recording and writing stuff of my own. Everybody in this band goes out and does side projects.
Right.
You know? So when they come back to this, it's the Foo Fighters. And then.
But you weren't doing that when you were in Nirvana. You weren't doing side projects.
Well, I was, but I just wasn't letting anyone hear it.
With Kurt? I mean, were you on good terms?
Things got weird towards the end.
So did that make you feel even weirder about his death? Were you sort of estranged?
Yeah. I mean, everybody sort of was. I think at that point, it had sort of split off, and it just got really weird. It was,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if anybody really does, but it had gotten to the point where
He wasn't talking to you?
well, they were just, you know, I don't do drugs.
Right.
I haven't done drugs since I was a kid.
Right.
20 years old, I think, is when I stopped. And so, you know, there were drugs around, and there was like the people who did the drugs, and then there were people that didn't do the drugs. And I didn't do the drugs. And so I was just out of that world, you know. And if you're in it, you're in it. If you're not, you're out.
Last couple of months, you hadn't even been in touch with Kurt.
No, we had.
Right.
And but
were you close to breaking up the band anyway? Do you think you guys would have broken up because Kurt was going his own way?
I think at that point it was important that we take a break.
Up to this point, we've only seen Dave through the lens of time, reflective, composed, careful with his words. He's told the story before, but always from a distance, like someone handling a fragile memory with gloves on. What comes next is different. A moment where the guard drops, and the grief is no longer history, but something raw and immediate.
There's certain people in life that you prepare yourself to lose, like some sort of self-defense. You build these walls around your heart, like being emotionally vaccinated, but when they're gone, you won't feel pain. But it never works. When Kurt died, I was numb and lost, and couldn't listen to music. I couldn't stand to hear someone else sing about their pain or their heartbreak or their joy. So I turned off the radio and I put my instruments away, because the music that I had devoted my life to had now betrayed me. I decided to take a trip to the most remote place I could find. I just wanted to disappear. So I went to somewhere that I knew I couldn't be found, to an area of Ireland called the Ring of Kerry. And I rented a car and just started driving around to think. One day, I was driving down a country road and I saw a hitchhiker in the distance. And as I got closer and closer, I looked, and this hitchhiker had a Kurt Cobain t-shirt on. Here I was in the middle of nowhere, and I saw Kurt's face looking right back at me. And it was in that moment that I thought, okay, I have to go home and get back to work, because I'll never outrun this. So I went back to Seattle and I picked up my instruments and I booked 6 days at a studio down the street from my house.